Moving to high definition was supposed to be a clear step forward, finally leaving the bulky cathode ray tubes of the standard definition era behind. Most buyers assume the upgrade path is a simple display purchase. Just buy a thin, flat-screen monitor and plug it into the wall. But that panel is essentially a blank canvas. Without the correct receiver box to decode the broadcast signal, a high-end flat screen remains dark. Instead of a universal standard, the market is fractured into different broadcast protocols, all competing to control the cable and satellite lines in your home. Achieving a high-definition signal is a specific infrastructure commitment that requires selecting the correct decoding hardware to match your home's wiring. Walk into any electronics store, and you hit a maze of labels: MPEG-4, DVB-T2, DVB-C, IPTV, HDCP. These terms often act as a barrier between the broadcast tower and your screen.
These acronyms represent entirely separate delivery pipelines that are physically incompatible with one another. Selecting the wrong receiver leads to immediate daily friction, leaving you with premium hardware that is plagued by clunky software menus or mechanical flaws. There is also the risk of the early adopter tax. If you buy hardware tied to an aging compression standard, your expensive receiver can face total obsolescence in just a few years. To avoid these expensive infrastructure mistakes, we need to map out the specific technical trade-offs of cable, satellite, terrestrial, and IPTV. The DVB-C cable pathway is the primary route for many. The Humax CX-HD1000C serves as a baseline case study for an entry-level HD receiver built for this system. The primary benefit here is immediate stability. You get crisp 1080i and 720p high-definition reception through your existing wall jack. It also features built-in upscaling technology, which sharpens legacy standard definition programs so they remain watchable on larger displays. Operation requires an active, pre-existing cable connection in your wall and standard HDMI or YUV cables running directly to the TV. The major trade-off is confinement. Base cable models typically lack internal hard drives for recording, and they lock you into your specific provider's smart card ecosystem. Measured, the cable route offers a stable, plug-and-play experience, but you give up consumer autonomy and recording flexibility to get it. For those demanding maximum control, the Satellite PVR pathway provides the most features, utilizing hardware like the Sagem HD PVR 101 ST. The core software advantage is its dual tuner capability. This allows you to watch a live HD broadcast on one channel while recording a completely different program in the background. It provides high storage capacity with a 250GB internal hard drive and runs a constant 1-hour background recording buffer for time-shifting live TV. However, this performance comes with a complex installation burden. To use dual tuner recording, you must run multiple separate cables from the dish's LNB arm all the way into your living room. That processing power requires internal cooling, and these systems are often criticized for a noisy internal fan that can cause the entire box to vibrate. Daily navigation can also be a struggle. Users have to navigate a clunky, icon-based interface that noticeably slows down your ability to surf through channels. Satellite delivers extensive recording and time-shifting control, but it requires you to weigh those features against high installation friction and recurring mechanical noise. Then there is the terrestrial broadcast pathway, designed for users who rely strictly on standard over-the-air antennas. The appeal is its simplicity. There is no new wiring or drilling required outside of using your existing rooftop antenna to access local HD channels. But this route hides a technological trap. Looking at the bottleneck on the left, standard MPEG-4 receivers hit their data limit with just a few HD channels. On the right, the newer DVB-T2 standard widens that pipe to carry a much larger volume of data. When regional networks eventually upgrade their towers to the DVB-T2 standard to fit more channels into their bandwidth, standard MPEG-4 boxes simply cannot process the signal. This results in total hardware failure. An MPEG-4 box instantly becomes useless, requiring you to purchase an entirely new receiver. Terrestrial feels like the cheapest entry point, but ignoring the DVB-T2 requirement carries the highest risk of catastrophic hardware obsolescence. Finally, we have the connected alternative, IPTV platforms like Telia.
which bypass traditional broadcast signals entirely. IPTV relies strictly on high-speed broadband internet to deliver television to your screen. The major benefit is the seamless integration with video-on-demand services and digital play libraries directly within the channel list. The vulnerability here is that your stream stability and picture quality are completely at the mercy of your local internet bandwidth and router health. IPTV successfully trades the always-on reliability of traditional broadcast infrastructure for the massive content libraries available through the internet. There is no universally correct receiver box. As this diagram shows, the right choice depends entirely on matching the hardware to your personal tolerance levels. It starts with one question: what kind of viewer are you? If you prioritize time shifting, dual channel recording, and the highest available bit rates, follow the path of the power user. This leads straight to satellite PVRs. On this path, you have to accept complex dual cable installations and minor hardware bugs as part of the experience. If your priorities are simplicity and avoiding any new wiring, follow the path of the plug-and-play upgrader, which leads to DVB-C cable or IPTV. On this branch, you get immediate stability, but you forfeit the ability to record multiple channels simultaneously. These two branches represent a classic hardware trade-off between raw capability and user convenience. We have to address one final segment: the antenna user seeking to future-proof their living room without paying for monthly subscriptions. The rule for this setup is definitive. Do not purchase an MPEG-4 only terrestrial box today. Check the labels and verify new hardware explicitly lists DVB-T2 support on its spec sheet. If DVB-T2 hardware is unavailable in your area, the optimal move is simply to wait. Use a PC or stick with your legacy setup in the interim. Navigating the high-definition transition requires cutting through the retail marketing hype. Match your technical patience with your actual infrastructure reality to make an investment.